Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and it's here, the iPhone 12. Yeah! Today's the day where the iPhone 12 is released. This is the normal iPhone 12 version in the 6.1 inch size, got the nice blue color, and for today's video, we're going to unbox this thing first, and then I'm going to give you some of my first impressions. So let's get into it and open this thing right up. First thing, of course, you gotta do is rip off this plastic, open up the box, and of course, you are greeted right there with the new blue iPhone 12. Now we're gonna get to the iPhone 12 in just a second, but first let's remove it and see what's behind it because we are missing a few things this year. So what you'll notice is we have the documentation and a lightning to USB-C cable. That's it. And even when you open up the documentation, you'll see that Apple has reduced that quite a bit this year, and they're only giving us one Apple sticker. Also, as I was talking, I just noticed that if you remove everything from this box, the shape of the box on the inside kind of looks like an iPod Classic. I'm really digging that as someone who is into more of the retro Apple tech, if you can call the iPod retro. Okay, let's turn our attention back to the reason you're here, the iPhone 12. Now, you can see obviously we have a new design here that has flatter sides. Other than that, it does look pretty similar to what we've seen on previous iPhones, and one of the big rumors was that the notch was going to shrink this year. It looks like that all turned out to be baloney, and the notch is still exactly the same size. All right, let me go ahead and power this up, and I'm gonna set this up, and then I'm going to use it for a little bit and come back with my initial impressions. Okay, well, I did exactly what I said I would do. I went ahead and powered on the iPhone 12, I set it up from a backup, and I've been playing around with it for about a few hours now. And I do have some first impressions on this iPhone 12 that I do want to share with you. Okay, first of all, let's get back to where I left off at with the design of the iPhone 12. I mean, this is one of the more outwardly facing features that people are going to notice as soon as they pick this thing up. Now, one of the things that I was worried about when I was looking at the iPhone 12 being revealed, when I was looking at all the rumors before it was revealed, was these flatter sides. I did like the look of them, and it reminded me of older phones like the iPhone 4, of course, newer products like the 2018 and 2020 iPad Pro, but I was worried from a sense that if these sides were flat, maybe it wouldn't be as comfortable to hold. When Apple used to have these flat sides, the phones were much smaller than they are now. Thankfully, it looks like all of my concerns were immediately washed away. As soon as I picked this up, this phone was super comfortable to hold in the hands. I know that's such a cliche at this point, but this really does feel nice in the hands. And I actually find that if you hold this against something like an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 11 Pro, I feel like I get a better grip on this because the sides are flat. So I'm actually less worried of this slipping out of my hand. In fact, let me go ahead and bring that iPhone 11 over here again, and we can kind of see the differences here between last year's model and this model. And you'll also notice that the bezels on the iPhone 12 are smaller than they are on the 11. That's because all of the iPhone 12 models this year now use an OLED display, whereas last year's iPhone 11 used an LCD display, so they had to have bigger bezels to fit in the backlighting. Because the bezels are now smaller on the iPhone 12, it still has the same 6.1 inch screen size, but you'll notice that it actually has a slightly smaller footprint than the iPhone 11. I quite like this. I kind of think that phones are getting a little bit too unwieldy nowadays, especially with these bigger 6-inch screen-sized phones. So any reduction in the physical footprint of the phone is a good thing in my book. One of the bigger design changes or features this year actually has to do with the magnets on the back of the iPhone for a MagSafe system of accessories. One of the accessories I have over here now is the MagSafe charger. This is a wireless charger that charges at a faster 15 watts, and as you can see, it magnetically attaches on the back of the iPhone 12. One of the bigger problems when it comes to wireless chargers is the fact that sometimes they don't align properly. So this is kind of Apple's way of fixing that by putting magnets in the charger, and on the back, they can ensure that every time you connect this, you're getting a solid connection, and even if you miss a little bit, hopefully it will align on the iPhone 12. This is something that I'm gonna have to test a little bit more in practice as I kind of charge my phone by my nightstand. And I don't think you have to worry about the MagSafe connection not being that strong, because as you can see, I'm kind of dangling my iPhone 12 over here. Kind of a little anxious, honestly. I'm a little scared it's gonna fall and shatter, but the MagSafe system is keeping it up and intact, and if you do want to remove it, just apply a little bit of pressure and it's still easy to remove. So I think this is going to be a pretty popular accessory for the iPhone 12. Obviously, there's some other accessories that are coming either from third parties, like some new charging systems, a car mount, and then from Apple with a special wallet that you can put on the back of the iPhone 12. Right now, I don't have any of those, and I don't think they are released yet, but as soon as I get them in, I will do some more testing with some more MagSafe accessories, and I'm sure third parties are also going to be releasing even more third-party accessories for this new MagSafe system, so I'm excited to try those out. Another thing I noticed when I started using the iPhone 12, and again, I'm gonna say it again, I haven't been using this all that long, but I did notice just how snappy this was with the A14 processor. I really didn't think iPhones could get even more snappy. They've been pretty fast and pretty consistent for years, especially when doing simple interactions. But I gotta say, I noticed when I switched from the 11 to the 12 that everything just felt a little bit more responsive, a little bit more snappy, and I'm really liking that experience so far on the 12. Another big touted feature at Apple's conference was the new 5G modem in the iPhone 12. All of the iPhone 12s now have 5G, and this is the first 5G iPhone. So I was kind of curious to test out 5G. I've used a couple of Android phones that have 5G, and I wasn't all that impressed. However, I think this is going to be one of the ultimate ways we talk about 5G and kind of solidify my point, because I put in my SIM card, I turned off the Wi-Fi to do some of these 5G tests, and you can see that I'm currently not getting a 5G signal in my house. I think that kind of shows you the state of 5G right now. It's really not ready for prime time, depending on what area you live, or if you're in a building, depending on the signal strength you're getting. You might not even be able to get a 5G connection at this point. So obviously I'm gonna have to do more broader tests than this. It's not fair for me to sit in my house, not get a 5G signal and say, you know, everything is lost. I'm gonna go outside into the world. I know that's hard to believe when you look at my pasty white skin that I go outside sometimes. I do. So I'm gonna wear my mask, I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna see if I can get a 5G signal later on. And then when I come back with a future video, I'm gonna let you know, is 5G all hype, or is there actually a feature here that you should be looking forward to? Right now, based on first impressions, or I guess 0 impressions, 5G just not working in my house. Other than that, there's some other things I wanted to mention. The screen. Again, I said it before, but this is now an OLED screen. There is no more LCD displays on the modern iPhone 12 lineup. A lot of people are going to like that. One of the bigger complaints when people were getting the lower cost iPhone 11s were that they had LCD displays, and you had to spend a lot of money to upgrade to the Pros to get an OLED display. This year, the displays are more or less the same. You're technically getting less brightness on the iPhone 12 than you would on the iPhone 12 Pro, 625 nits versus 800 nits. Not sure how that's going to affect real-world usage. Maybe if you're in really direct sunlight, you'll notice it. But one of the more important features that this iPhone 12 does get is that it can ramp the screen all the way up to 1200 nits when you're watching HDR video. That's when you're really gonna notice the benefits of this OLED display the most. And I did load up a video by Jonathan Morrison. He actually shot this on the iPhone 12 with its new Dolby Vision camera. And I just think the video quality on the iPhone 12 with this OLED display, it does look really good. Speaking of the cameras, I haven't tested out the Dolby Vision feature, but I did go outside and take a couple snapshots with the iPhone 12 to see if I can notice any sort of camera improvements this year over the 11. Now again, these are just first impressions. I still want to do a lot more photo testing before I give you a final verdict, but so far the photos look good. I think I can see an improvement, especially in the lower lighting areas. There is a faster aperture on the iPhone 12 this year, and I think I could notice that when I was taking pictures indoors. It didn't have to switch over to night mode. So far, I really do like these photos. I think they're really crisp and vibrant. You'll notice that you also get more depth of field naturally without using portrait mode, because you do get that f1.6 aperture. All right, everyone, and those are some of my first impressions with the iPhone 12. Obviously, we didn't dive into everything. It's just a first impressions video. Still have to do a lot more testing before I give my final verdict. And if I had to sum everything up, I would say so far the first impressions are good. I really do like the redesign. I think it's a sharp looking phone. It might be the best looking phone since the iPhone 5. There's also some negatives though. Like I said, the 5G networking. Right now, at least in my house, I couldn't even get a 5G signal. I may have to test out a different cell carrier that was on AT&T, so we're gonna have to test it out maybe with T-Mobile to see if we can get a better 5G signal. Other than that though, the A14 chip, obviously very snappy. The cameras on this are very good. And the OLED display was something a lot of people wanted for the regular version of the iPhone 11 that's coming to the iPhone 12. So I think this is going to be a very popular phone. Obviously, it's right there in the middle of the lineup. You can get a more expensive phone with the iPhone 12 Pro. And I think the really interesting phone this year, it's not out yet, that's coming out in November, is the iPhone 12 mini, which is going to be a smaller version of this phone. Really excited to check that one out, and really excited to check out some of the more accessories for the MagSafe system. But overall, those are first impressions of the iPhone 12. If you like this video, please give me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, including a future review of the iPhone 12, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to help the channel out in any way, make sure you check out some of the affiliate links in the description below. Also, be sure to let me know, what do you think of the iPhone 12 in the comments below. Are you getting one? Which color are you getting? Are you excited for it? I really want to know. And thank you so much for watching. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. If you're a frequent viewer of my channel, you know I kind of messed up that outro, but I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide. It was a little more loose this time. Loosey-goosey. All right, everyone, take care. Have a fantastic day.